see. See if this is working. Oh wow, it's working. Holy crap! Very cool. Sweet. So this is gonna be the first stream that I do like this. Pretty, pretty excited. Okay, so let's do it. It's going to do a little comparison on, you know, Trump and Biden, their first days. So let's do this. Compare what Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Compare Joe Biden and Donald Trump first day in office. Okay. So let's check it out. All right. Then, do we have Biden's? Okay. So we can. Yeah, we want more though. Give me a detailed comparison of Trump first day in office with Biden's first day, including executive orders. Okay, so let's see. See if they actually give the. Okay, here we go. Let's check it out. So I put into the AI prompt, I put in, give me a detailed comparison of Trump's first day in office with Biden's first day, including executive orders. So, and that's kind of what I want to look at. And really, like, we should look up what is an executive order. Okay. So, if we're looking at the American Bar Association, okay, so what is an executive order? One of the most common presidential documents in our modern government is an executive order. Every American president has issued at least one, totaling more than, as of this writing, 13,731. There has to be a ton more because this was in 2021, I believe. Since George Washington took office in 1789, media reports of changes made by executive order or executive orders to come rarely explain what the document is, or other technical details, such as why or how. They seem to be instant law and at times steeped in controversy. Here, Teaching Legal Docs tries to unpack these sometimes controversial legal documents produced by executive branch of the U.S. government. What it is and what it isn't. Okay. So an executive order is signed, written, and published directive from the president. Well, no. It's a signed, written, and published directive from the president of the United States that manages operations of the federal government. They are numbered consecutively, so executive orders may be referenced by their assigned number or their topic. Other presidential documents are sometimes similar to executive orders in their formality, and issue, but have different purposes. Okay, so you have an executive order, and then you have other presidential documents. Okay. Proclamations, which are also signed and numbered consecutively, communicate information on holidays. Communicate information on holidays, commemoration, federal observance, in trade. Okay, so proclamations and then there's executive order, and then there's presidential documents. Okay, so a proclamation is meant to communicate information on like important days, essentially. Um, Administrative orders, example, memos, notices, letters, messages, etc., are not numbered but are still signed and are used to manage administrative matters of the federal government. So, um, an administrative order is less formal. Executive order is like the top, then you have your presidential documents, and you have your proclamations, which are more like, let's say, on a holiday, um, or like an observance, for example, maybe 9/11 or something along those lines. I'm not saying that's a holiday, but that's a federal observance. I believe that that's what that means. Like you're talking about like a historic day in the United States, um, but are still signed and are used to manage administrative matters of the federal government. All three types of presidential documents, executive orders, proclamations, and certain administrative orders are published in the Federal Register, the daily journal of the federal government that is published to inform the public about federal regulations. Okay, so the Federal Register is where all of these get documented. Federal Register. So this is like the official journal of the United States and information coming from the president. They're also cataloged by the National Archives as official documents produced by the federal government. Both executive orders and proclamations have the force of law, much like regulations issued by federal agencies, so they are codified under Title III of the Code of Federal Regulations, which is a formal collection of all the rules and regulations issued by the executive branch and other federal agencies. Executive orders are not legislation. They require no approval from Congress, and Congress cannot simply overturn them. Congress may pass legislation that might make it difficult or even impossible to carry out the order, such as removing funding. Okay, so Congress may pass legislation. So they don't require approval. I didn't know that. I thought that executive orders needed approval, but I guess not. I guess executive orders are simply, or really it's like whatever the president wants, he gets. And Congress cannot simply overturn them. Congress may pass legislation. So, for example, Congress can, like for Trump, not wanting, well, I don't know how that would pass or cut funding. I don't know how cutting funding would cancel out, let's say, the safe haven, born in the United States law that's in the Constitution. Only a sitting U.S. president may overturn an existing executive order by issuing another executive order to that effect. So essentially, if there's, I think essentially, like, if there's executive order signed by a Republican president, it won't get overturned or until the next, party comes into line. Okay, so that's actually really good to know. I'm gonna star this right here. Done. The document. The format, substance, and documentation of executive orders are varied across history of the U.S. presidency. Today, executive orders follow a format and strict documentation system. Typically, the White House issues the order first, then it's published in the Federal Register. The official journal of the federal government has a more permanent documentation. Orders are also recorded in Title III, and that's what they talked about, the Code of Federal Regulations. Department, State. Okay, so I don't really care about the formatting all too much. Okay. So essentially, like, executive orders, they can't be overturned. They're like here to stay unless another president, essentially abolishes them. Okay, so Donald Trump's first day in office for his second term on January 20th, 2025 was marked by an unprecedented executive action far surpassing Joe Biden's first day in 2021. Trump signed 26 orders on his first day, setting a record for day one presidential actions. Contrast, Biden signed 9 on his first day. Trump's actions, wow. So 9 versus 26. Trump was getting shit done, man. He wasn't playing. But I don't think Biden was playing either. I think Biden had, Trump had a different, challenge. Biden had COVID, and so he was fucking handling that. So let's see. So he rescinded 78 executive orders and memorandum from Biden's administration. Okay, so let's click into that. He withdrew from the World Health Organization, ordering federal workers to return to offices. I actually agree with that. I don't mind him doing that. I think working from home is bullshit. You don't really do anything at home. A lot of people can just jack off and 20 times a day, work 6 hours a day or 5 hours a day, and just say they worked 8, which I don't think it is productive for any business. And also, it's like you have those empty offices, and I don't know if the federal government can rent out those offices. So, oh, my monitor's fucking up. It's weird. Declassifying the JFK files, that's going to be huge. I think he also ordered to declassify the Martin Luther King files and the Robert F. Kennedy Sr. files, which I still can't believe the Kennedys, so many of the Kennedys got assassinated. Ending of the EV mandate, I also think that's good. I think it's kind of crazy that in 10 years really it's less than that, we're all supposed to be driving EV cars. I don't think anyone took that seriously. And I don't think it's fair for the American consumer to have to purchase a EV car. Unless I misunderstood or have misunderstood the EV mandate. So we're going to click into that and try and understand that a little bit more. Pardoning 2 Washington, D.C. police officers. Well, he didn't just pardon them, he pardoned the J6ers. Deploying troops to secure the border. That was crazy. I don't know and I probably don't have anyone in here, but whenever deploying troops to secure the border, so on his second day, he had a bunch of ICE raids in Chicago, and it's probably going to happen in New York too now. And there's videos now that have come out in the news where there are people in Texas that are getting deported. And I mean, honestly, I think I agree with those that are illegal and have crimes or criminal history. I don't necessarily mean for DUI in a different country. I know in Canada you're not allowed to go in with a DUI, but I'm talking about those who have murdered, raped, or graped, dealt drugs in a significant capacity, etc. That's pretty crazy. And I don't know about the border situation. Really, I know it's bad, so they tell me. There is a huge difference in the amount of illegal immigrants that have gone into under Biden administrations and Trump's. Biden administration saw, I think, 4 or 5 times the amount of illegal immigrants go in versus Trump. Opening up offshore drilling and allowing more energy exploration in Alaska. Let's look at that. Drill, baby, drill. Ending government censorship, which I don't know what the fuck that means. That's such a broad term. Now, we're going to look at his 26 executive orders. And then he pardoned the J6 participants. and they were actually released, there was a big debate on him pardoning those that actually attacked a police officer. Um, and a bunch of people are saying kind of like, oh, well, aren't you pro blue and all this stuff and pro police, but you're pardoning people that attack police? So, and he's come out and said um, that he has to look into that more. Um, and I think he will. And fuck, man, I'd feel dumb as fuck if I was one of those people that beat up a police officer. One, it's so stupid because you're gonna get your ass kicked in a little bit by like 20 other cops. And two, man, those people that are going home were doing. I mean, I don't think there was anything peaceful about the J6 stuff. I think it was terrible, and I think that it was a horrific thing, but it's almost like an insurrection, really. Like, and you can say the same thing about the BLM people. Um, I think it was the BLM rioters because they fucking, smashed a bunch of and destroyed a bunch of small businesses, including black-owned businesses, which they're for BLM. They're not, you know, really linear in their cause because they're fucking up their own people's um, uh, stores and livelihoods. Okay, so we went over Trump's. Now let's go over Biden's. Biden's first day actions in 2021 focused primarily on COVID, climate change, racial equity, and immigration. Okay, well, clearly not immigration because we have a huge problem. Um, okay, so launching 100 days masking challenge. Ew, dude, that's fucking stupid. I'm sure people. Okay, let's see if I can just click it and it will. Okay, cool. So, rejoining the World Health Organization. Okay, so he pretty much undid Trump's thing, and then Trump undid it, which is kind of crazy. Let's go into that though, because I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see why we're withdrawing from the World Health Organization. I understand why, like in the sense of, um, I understand why in the sense of, I guess we're paying more than other people in there, but I don't really know what the World Health Organization does, honestly. So we're gonna look that up. Let's actually look that up right now. Let's see. What is the World Health Organization? The World Health Organization is a specialized agency of the United Nations dedicated to global public health. Established on April 7, 1948, it is the largest intergovernmental health organization at the international level with 194 member countries. Okay, so it's essentially the Avengers of countries for health. Headquartered in Switzerland, governed by the World Health Assembly, and then we have current directors from Ethiopia. I don't know how that could be because if you've seen a bunch of Ethiopians, they're just a bunch of skinny buggas. Mission and objective. The WHO's primary purpose is to achieve the highest possible level of health for all people, defining health as a state. Okay, the WHO's primary purpose is to achieve the highest possibility level of health for all people, defining health as state of complete physical, mental, social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Well, I feel like social shouldn't be in there. That's a whole nother thing. I feel like if we're talking about, I think physical, mental, are the main things that, or aspects that the World Health Organization should be looking at. And they should be the ones who are like, at the forefront of potential diseases or anything like that. And really, I think they should be on the forefront of any AI used to identify and treat cancer. That's really what they should be doing. Um, but that's just my opinion. Um, its main functions include promoting control of epidemic and endemic diseases, improving public health teaching and medical training, establishing international health standards, providing technical assistance to countries, and coordinating responses to health agencies or emergencies. What did they do during COVID? I want to know what the fuck they did during COVID. Um, the organization has played a crucial role in several significant public health achievements, including eradication of smallpox, near eradication of polio, and development of an Ebola vaccine. Okay, so they almost eradicated polio, development of an Ebola vaccine, and eradication of smallpox. So current priorities are communicable diseases such as HIV, AIDS, Ebola, malaria, tuberculosis, non-communicable diseases such as heart disease and cancer. That should be number one, dude. How is AIDS before cancer? I feel like such a smaller population of the people actually have like exposure to AIDS. I mean, that's more of a gay thing. Healthy diet and nutrition, universal health coverage, monitoring public health risks. With a budget of $6.83 billion? What the fuck? Okay. So that's the World Health Organization. Okay, let's go back to Biden's shit. Rejoining WHO, creating a position of a COVID response coordinator, okay, extending the moratorium on evictions and foreclosures. See, that's really good. Not good for the people who are renting out the property, but I think that's good for the people, and they probably pay the landlords the difference that is owed. I assume. Extending the pause on student loan payments, but they still had to pay it, which is so stupid. Rejoining the Paris Climate Accord, okay. And also we're gonna do a perplexity search. What is the Paris Climate Accords? Okay, so let's see what these are. The Paris Climate Accords, also known as the Paris Agreement, is a legally binding international treaty on climate change adopted in 2015 by 196 parties at a UN climate change conference in Paris. The agreement's central aim is to strengthen the global response to the threat of climate change by limiting the increase in global average temperatures to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, while pursuing efforts to limit that increase to 1.5. Okay, so they're pretty much attempting to keep the Earth's climate at a certain temperature. Alright, so by limiting the increase in global average temperature to well below, okay, so what is this in Fahrenheit? In Fahrenheit, bitch. Okay, so they're trying to, dude, that's fucking cold. What the fuck are we doing? Okay, the global average is that fucking cold? While pursuing efforts to limit the increase to 1.5. Okay, so they want to limit the increase to 1.5 degrees. I don't entirely know what they mean by that. Key aspects of the Paris Agreement include temperature goals, limit global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius, preferably 1.5 Celsius above pre-industrial levels. What the fuck does that mean, mate? I don't know what that fucking means. Emissions reduction. Oh wow, the background changed. That's weird. I didn't know it did that. Okay, so let's go back to Biden. Canceling the Keystone XL pipeline. I don't know what that is. I've heard a lot about it. I don't know what it is. And rescinding Trump's administration's 1776 commission. I also don't know what this is, and I don't think Trump actually brought that back. Trump's aggressive use of executive powers on day one reflects his campaign's promise to swiftly undo Biden's policies. In contrast, Biden's first day was more focused on specific policy areas, particularly the pandemic response. It's worth noting that the executive orders can face legal challenges and may not always result in immediate policy changes. The long-term impact of these day one actions will depend on their implementation and potential legal obstacles. Okay. By legal obstacles, that means if Congress will put barriers into passing those laws. Okay, so let's bring this down. And we're going to go to more current, and we're going to look at the Trumpster, DJT, and what he passed. Okay, so orders, memorandums, and proclamations. What's the difference and what to know? On his first day back in the Oval Office, Donald Trump issued 51 executive orders, 12 memorandums, and 4 proclamations, according to the White House website. All right. And that White House website is the Federal Registry. They're talking about the Federal Register Journal. I assume that's what they're referring to. Okay. And what is this? What is this banner? What is this banner, man? Okay. Alright, I need to switch this monitor. I think I need to toss it or something because it is fucking up. You just have to smack it, I guess. Oh man, this monitor is all screwed. I like the other one because it's smaller. This one is just way too big. It's not, well, it might be what she said, who knows. Okay, so Donald Trump's presidency began just as he promised. Just hours after being sworn into office for the second time, the 47th Commander-in-Chief issued a flurry of executive orders. Okay. Trump also used his executive order to rescind 78 executive orders signed by Joe Biden over the last 4 years. Actually, let's look at that too. I know we're being all scatterbrained right now. Let's look at it. Look at it. Okay. Let's see. What were the 78 executive orders passed by Biden that Trump rescinded? Question mark. Are they actually going to name 78? Because that's what I want this thing to do. Dude, you're... Okay, here. See, it's the way that you have to... So you have to put... Provide me all 78 passed by Biden that Trump rescinded. Okay, let's see if that's a better prompt. It really, like, the AI output depends on what you input. Orders passed. The search results do not contain a comprehensive list of all 78 orders. However, I can provide some of the key You're such a fucking bitch, dude. God damn it. See, this AI is limited. Let's see what OpenAI says. See if they can. Let's see if this is a better AI than Perplexity. I don't understand why the pages won't work. Chat GPT, bitch. I actually have an account. I want to try it. Try GPT, Chat GPT. I actually have an account, so I'm going to come off screen. I'm going to sign in. Hopefully it doesn't have my name on there. That would suck.
Dude, I hate this dual factor.
authentication bullshit. 2225611. I don't understand that. Why does everything have to be dual authentication? I mean, I get it, right? There's motherfuckers out there that are trying to get your information, but still. Screw them, man. Okay, so what can I help you with? So we're gonna put this in here. We're gonna put the same prompt. Give me a detailed comparison. No, that's not what I want. It's this one. Okay. Provide me all 70 executive orders passed by Trump rescinded. Alright, let's see if they can give it to me. Let's see. Orders have not been... Okay, so we don't have a full list of them. But we do have... Okay, so they both suck. And here I have 12, so Perplexity wins. Fuck you, ChatGPT. So President Trump rescinded a bunch of orders. Some of them were preventing combating discrimination on the basis of gender, identity, or sexual orientation. So he took that one out. It's pretty crazy that he took this out, honestly. I'm going to look into that one. Advancing racial equity and support for undeserved communities through federal government. Okay. So they're pretty much like, I don't even know if this is not even DEI though. This is just common sense shit. He's literally just like providing protection for people who hate other people who are different from them. Further advancing racial equity and support for undeserved communities. See, I don't like racial equity is like so weird to me. It's such a weird term. I don't totally get it. Also not a fan of it, that term. Because what does it mean? Advancing economy, efficiency, and effectiveness in federal government contracting by promoting pay equity and transparency. I think that's good, and I think you should have that. Why wouldn't you? Okay, so we can go down this list later. Moving beyond COVID. Okay, so yeah. So I didn't even know that people still needed to be vaccinated to get jobs anymore. Establishment of White House Gender Okay. See, I don't mind this one. White House Gender Policy Council. See, that's fucking lame. Like, why would you need to have that in the White House? I agree with that. Non-displacement of qualified workers under service contracts. I don't know what that means actually, so we're gonna have to look that up. Revision of civil immigration enforcement policies and priorities. Revision of civil immigration enforcement policies. Okay, I'm gonna have to look this up because I also don't know what this means. Executive Order 1410 or 14010, creating a comprehensive regional framework to address the causes of migration, to manage migration through North and Central America, and to provide a safe and orderly process of asylum seekers. Okay, so pretty much here he's taking away that rule where if you're seeking asylum, you can actually come into the country and wait until that court hearing is here. So this is a border issue. 14011, establishment of interagency task force on reunification of families. So this is essentially, I assume, has to do with trying to, essentially he's trying to not keep the families together. He doesn't care about that. He's like, managing with the country with iron fist, specifically like the border policy and immigration and citizenship. So like I assume that if your daughter gets lost or gets displaced from you,
the parents can't stay and wait for the daughter. Restoring faith in our legal immigration. So they see that's stupid. Rebuilding and enhancing programs to resettle. So a lot of his stuff that he took out has to do with immigration. That's pretty much everything that it had to do with. Additionally, Trump rescinded 2 presidential memoranda regarding Cuba that were issued on January 14, 2025, which aimed to relax certain sanctions on Cuba. So watch Trump like take this shit out, and he just puts it back in, and just makes it look like he's the one who put it in there. That'd be crazy. Okay, so let's continue with Trump. What is an executive order? We just read that. To sign and publish document that commands the federal government to change an existing practice or implement a new one. In signing an executive order, presidents must provide legal or constitutional justification for the order. So when he was signing them, that's what he was doing. He was providing explanations on what he was doing to the press. Which people say that Donald Trump isn't good with press people and journalists, but I mean I feel like he talks to them more than Biden did. Biden, I feel like, didn't really get out there much or often at all. He really was too old for his own good, that guy. Like, he shouldn't have been where he was. I feel bad for the guy. Really. How much power do executive orders have? Presidents cannot issue an executive order that violates existing law. Each executive order must have constitutional or legal backing. And I guess they did, since he passed it, right? Like, who determines that, though? Who determines the constitutional legal backing? Like, is there someone above the president that determines that? Or can people sue the president? I wonder if they can do that for passing, like, unconstitutional laws. Or is that whenever they kick him out and they get impeached? If Trump was impeached and nothing happened, which is pretty crazy. Though they seem to hold a significant amount of power, executive orders are not pieces of legislation. They are not passed by Congress, nor can they be overturned by Congress, like we read. As a result, executive orders are often used by presidents to enact a policy they think might get stuck in Congress. Interesting. So this might stay with Congress for a minute. However, Congress can pass separate legislation that restricts rights. So they're talking about removing funding or creating obstacles. Okay. That's what they can do. And that's ABA is the American Bar Association. How common are executive orders? They're the most common documents. One of the most common documents a president can issue. Each president has signed at least one, according to American Presidency Project, with each president since Chester Arthur signing over 100. In his first presidency, Trump signed 220. Biden signed 162. That's partially because Biden was sleeping the last 2 years of his presidency. Cumulative executive orders by month. Okay, so let's look at Obama. Dude, he only signed 148. What was this fucking guy doing? Trump signed the most in 2017. George W. Bush 162. Clinton 201. Dude, these motherfuckers were getting shit done. For real. Alright, we talked about a memorandum, how it's kind of a less formal thing. It's kind of like a letter. Proclamation has to do with national announcements. right, like, exactly. How much power does a proclamation have? Presidential proclamations are not laws, nor they hold the same binding power. Okay. So you didn't tell us jack shit. You're out of there. Pa fuera. Afuera. Okay. The first 100 hours historic of action to kick off America's golden age. This is the WhiteHouse.gov. Self-proclamation, self-proclamating golden age of America, put out by the White House. Okay, so his second term is off to an historic start. Wow! That's so funny. The president wasting no time delivering on the promises he made to the American people. The president signed more executive orders on his... Hold on, let me get this out of here. On his first day of office than any other president in history. Within the first 100 hours of his second administration, President Trump taken hundreds of executive actions to secure the border, deport criminal illegal immigrants, unleash American prosperity, lower costs, increase government transparency. Honestly, like, I haven't seen anything relating to lowering costs. Like, I feel like everything that he's done is simply just the border, immigration, taking out, like, you know, DEI, making people go back to work, and then just undoing a bunch of Biden stuff. Like, what has he done for, you know, and obviously it's his first, 2 days or whatever in office, or first week in office, but still, it's like, girl, guys, what, like, is he gonna actually do something about taxes, prices, what are we doing? I guess he had that Stargate thing, which is pretty big. Stargate was huge. President Trump is securing historic investments just days after being sworn in. President Trump secured $500 billion in private sector investment for the largest AI infrastructure project in history with SoftBank CEO Masayoshi Son, Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison, and OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, all stating that it would not have been possible if not for Trump's election. So they were all saying that, like, it probably wouldn't have been done in the United States, and Biden wouldn't have put the resources to do this project. I hope this is good for us. They were talking about, it could easily identify cancer and, like, the remedy for that cancer and potentially cure the cancer. That's what they were talking about, amongst other things. But, like, when it comes to AI, like, they're not just talking about, language model, whatever, an LLM, not just, like, simple input-output with, like, keywords and stuff like that. It's actually robotics. It's actually, artificial intelligence, like, matching, blood. Like, I assume, like, with AI now, if you want to take, like, a parental test or something like that, you can just simply, like, match the blood and boom, it's right there. Saudi Arabia wants to invest $600 billion in the United States over the next 4 years. Yeah, they were talking about, Trump was trying to get $1 trillion. And then what he wants is, he wants to get $1 trillion from the Saudis, and then he wants them to lower their oil prices, and then he partially blamed them for the reason why the war in Ukraine is going so long, which is fucking crazy. He was like, yeah, if you would have lowered those prices, this war would have been over by now, because I guess the Saudis don't do business with Russia. But this guy's just crazy sometimes. Stellantis announced it will restart an assembly plant in Illinois and build a new Dodge Durango in Detroit. So more manufacturing in the United States. And essentially what he wants to do is, like, he's promising lower taxes, but just for corporations. Specifically those corporations that have manufacturing outside the U.S. He wants to bring in, I think right now they pay about 20%. But he wants to bring, people or companies to manufacture in the U.S. and he's going to reduce their taxes by 5%. So it's going to be 15% for those businesses that are manufacturing in the United States. Which I don't know for a lot of companies if that will be fiscally beneficial. It'll be beneficial obviously because you pay less taxes, but I don't know if like the lower labor costs that you have overseas is going to equate to the same value as a 5% decrease in your taxes. The Deloitte Free Press, the news announced in a letter Wednesday to employees from North America Chief Operating Officer Antonio Filosa. Provided some good news to workers in Toledo, Ohio, and Kokomo. Wait, is that from that fucking song? Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahamas, come on baby mama, Ladino, dido. In the Florida Keys, there's a place called Kokomo. I don't know. President Trump is already securing the border and arresting criminal illegal immigrants. Yes, he's doing those ICE raids. The Border Patrol is showing a significant drop already in attempted illegal crossings because they're fucking scared. I know they shut down that. So there was an application that they had to get into the border. I don't know what it was called, but I do know that that application was shut down immediately when he became president. And there have been people that have been waiting for months and months for their, queue in line, I guess. And I feel bad for those people that were, like next in line. Imagine the fucking last person to get in, how happy that fucking person is.
It is wild to me.
Fox News. The U.S. southern border has seen a sharp drop in illegal immigrant encounters in the first days of Trump administration compared to the final few days of the Biden administration. That's that the Biden administration numbers were lowering, too. Oof, they fucked up. Here. Let's look at this. Is Biden taller than all of them? Pace and go. Oh. Alright, let's just cut this out. Okay, so let's see. What was I gonna look up? Okay. Provide me a comparison of the number of illegal immigrants that entered the country under Trump's first term versus Biden. Okay. Trump's first term. 2.37. Whoa! Whoa. So they had 2.37 encounters at the southern border. 2.37 million. But that's what we said. It's like about 4 times. Holy shit. Estimated increase in authorized immigration population 2.4 in the first 27 months, according to. Wow. So there's 2.4 million essentially coming in more. And they're buying 2.5 million. Deportations under Biden have surpassed Trump's record with over 200 individuals removed in the last fiscal year. Oh. The fuck? So Biden deported more. Encounters do not directly translate to successful legal entries. That's true, as many individuals are expelled or removed, turned away. Under Biden, there were 2.5 million people released into the U.S. and 2.8 removed or expelled. Wow. Deportation under Biden have surpassed Trump's record with over 271,000 removed in the last fiscal year. So Biden had more deportations than Trump. So what the fuck are we talking about? Huh? The fuck are people saying? From the BBC. Do I even have to say it? Do I even have to say it? The big black cups. U.S. immigration authorities last year deported the largest number of undocumented immigrants in nearly a decade, surpassing the record of Donald Trump's first term in office. Wow. Hello, I'm gonna get water. Okay. Back at it. U.S. immigration authorities last year deported the largest of undocumented in nearly a decade. Okay. So more than 271,000 immigrants were deported from the U.S. over the last fiscal year, according to a report by ICE agencies. The ICE report comes just weeks before President plans to make a mass deportation cornerstone of his incoming administration takes office. So they were doing the same thing. President Joe Biden in 2021 had pledged to pause deportations, but his administration ended up expanding it following a surge in border crossings. Wow, dude, he shouldn't have done that, man. Really. It was pretty fucking crazy. In a newly released report, ICE said that the steep climb in deportations last fiscal year was part of the result of a streamlined process. Okay, so they had planned for this, is what they're saying. More deportation flights went to further away destinations, including Africa and Asia, which did not accept U.S. deportations for years. What? Are you serious? So when they're out, like, where do they go? The majority of deportations in fiscal year 2024 involved migrants apprehended by border officials compared to those ICE arrested in the U.S. interior. Okay, so it was primarily at the border. That's what they're saying. Roughly 82% of 271,000 immigrants deported that year were arrested by border agents. Wow. So, damn. So they're really like with the ICE thing and doing the raids and stuff like that, they're really that's the main difference, I think, is that like they're trying to get the ones that are in the country already and not just passing the border. Majority of deportations in fiscal year 2024 involved migrants apprehended by the border officials compared to those ICE arrested in the U.S. interior. President-elect Trump has vowed to launch the largest deportation operation in history when he returns to office. These promises, however, are likely to face enormous... Oh, fuck. These promises, however, are likely to face enormous logistical and financial challenges. Leading up to his decisive victory over Kamala Harris in November, Trump spent much of the time on the campaign trail attacking the White House border policies. Trump's transition spokeswoman, Caroline Leavitt, told Reuters that Biden's deportations were insignificant compared to the high levels of illegal immigration during his presidency. I can understand that. You had to have, high amount of deportations because you had the most amount of illegal immigrant entrances in presidential history. On day one, President Trump will fix the immigration and national security nightmare that Joe Biden created. Okay, we're still reading. Okay, I was like, what are we reading right now? Interesting. This is such a funny article. I wanna read the ones that Biden had. Like, I think this shit's pretty funny. Alright, here we go. The Trump administration immediately shut down the CBP One app, right, which paroled over 1 million illegal immigrants. That's the app that people are waiting in line to enter to get an appointment with a border agent or something along those lines. Deportation flights have already started, and the military is assisting with the effort. The Department of Homeland Security reinstated official use of the term illegal alien over undocumented non-citizen, and the DOJ announced it would be taking action against lawless sanctuary city policies. Okay. So isn't like New York a safe haven or a sanctuary city? I think. President Trump signed an executive order designated... Right, that's pretty big. That designates the cartels as terrorist organizations. They probably have to be shitting a fucking brick. Common sense has been restored to the government. President Trump signed... They need better formatting with this shit. What are we doing? Like, make it darker here, or like, put like a star, arrow, or something that differentiates this. Like, there's indents, but that doesn't... That's nothing. Alright. That's nothing. Trump signed a series of executive orders ensuring the elimination of DEI practice. DEI staff are being placed on leave. Wow, dude. I wonder what all these people... how many... Let me see. Number of DEI federal staff. Let's see that number. So, I have no idea. No idea, but Trump seems like a really nice guy, actually. Except for he really just wants to... I don't think he's not Hitler or anything like that. I think he's far from it. He's not the one that shot someone. He never told anyone to kill anybody. When he talked bad about people as essentially, illegal immigrants. That's what he talked about. He wasn't talking about all of them. He talked about, I guess the bad ones, but like he doesn't talk shit about like actual Americans versus the other guy who was talking bad about Jewish German citizens. So it's a completely different thing, and not just Jewish German, but just Jewish in general, European Jewish. Ended affirmative action mandate. What is affirmative action? What is that? A set of policies and practice that aim to promote equal opportunities for underrepresented groups. Okay, yeah, I agree with that. And I'm one of those people, dude. You know, like I don't even know if I was a DEI hire for my last job. I could have been, even though I'm fucking good at what I do, and I think I'm the best person for the job. But like, I could have been a DEI hire. Who knows? I could have been one of those checkbox hires. I hope I'm not, but I could see me being one. President Trump signed an executive order affirming the reality that there are only two sexes. That's just like, what the fuck? I want to see this one. Okay. Defending women from gender ideology, extremism, and restoring biological truth to the federal government. Wow, this is a federal thing. By the authority vested in me as the President of the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, including Section 7, okay, blah, blah, blah. It is hereby ordered to Section 1. Purpose: across the country, ideologues who deny the biological reality of sex have increasingly used legal and the other social coercive means to permit men to self-identify as women and gain access to intimate single-sex spaces and activities designed for women. For women's domestic abuse shelters to women's workplace showers. This is wrong. Efforts to eradicate the biological reality of sex fundamentally attack women by depriving them of their dignity, safety, and well-being. The erasure, I don't know how the term is. The erasure of sex in language and policy has a coercive impact not just on women, but on the validity of the entire American system, basing federal policy. Wow. He really isn't playing, dog. Oh my god. Alright, I think we're gonna stop there. This is a lot of Politico. But we will continue this later. I actually like this. This is a lot of fun. I'm probably gonna stream video games tonight. There's literally no one listening, but you gotta fake it till you make it. That's what I like to say. So, till next one, chat. Have a good day.